It was just after 9 p.m. on a Tuesday when a video from a guy named Mark in Ohio destroyed my appetite, probably forever. He was at a popular drive-thru, one you've definitely been to, filming himself trying their new limited-time burger. He takes a big bite, smiles at the camera, and starts to chew. And then his face changes. The smile vanishes. It's replaced by a look of confused, dawning horror. He spits the food into a napkin, and with shaky hands, he unfolds it to show the camera. And there it is, nestled in the half-chewed mess. A pair of spindly, jointed legs and a shiny, black carapace. A cooked cockroach. That video got over 2 million views in 48 hours. But what really got me wasn't the bug itself. It was the top comment, with over 10,000 likes, that said, "I used to work there. This is nothing new. You have no idea what's really going on in that." That comment bothered me. It suggested that Mark wasn't just unlucky. He was a predictable casualty of a broken system. And I had a sickening thought. My own family had eaten at that exact chain just 2 weeks earlier. I needed to know if that commenter was right. So for the last 3 months, I've done nothing but investigate the food safety records of America's most beloved burger chain. This wasn't about scrolling Reddit. It was about digging into the official public record health department data, analyzing news investigations, and cross-referencing thousands of customer complaints filed between 2020 and 2025 to separate fact from. And I'll be honest with you, what I found is far worse than I ever imagined. We're talking about documented cases of live mice nesting in hamburger buns, roach egg sacs inside drink machines, and managers intentionally contaminating food. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, but this is probably just about a few poorly run restaurants in the middle of nowhere. That's what I thought, too. But the data shows a clear and undeniable pattern of negligence across some of the biggest and most trusted brands. And that's why, in this video, I'm going to give you a definitive, evidence-backed countdown of the 10 burger chains that are consistently gambling with. We're not just going to talk about rumors. We're going to look at the hard proof for each one. My motivation here is simple. I believe you have a right to know what's really going on behind the kitchen doors of the places you're feeding your food. And by focusing on the systematic failures I uncovered, you'll see why this is a problem that affects everyone. So, by the end of this video, you will not only know which chains to avoid, but you will also understand the red flags to watch for at any restaurant, giving you the power to protect yourself. Because what's at stake here isn't just a ruined meal. It's your family's health. And the dream of being able to simply enjoy a meal out without the fear of what might be hiding in your. Let's get started. We begin our countdown at number 10 with a brand that has masterfully crafted an image of health and freshness in a sea of greasy alternatives. A place that told us for years to eat fresh. I'm talking about Subway. The very foundation of Subway's marketing is a promise of crisp vegetables, freshly baked bread, and a clean, light meal. It's the place you go when you want fast food without the guilt. But this carefully constructed image of wholesomeness makes the reality of their hygiene failures all the more jarring. Imagine walking into a Subway, ordering your favorite sub, and watching them pile on what you believe are fresh ingredients, only to find out that the kitchen it came from is a ticking time bomb, potential illness. The core of the issue, as revealed by a comprehensive Dateline Dirty Dining investigation, lies in a staggering 160 critical violations found across the 100 locations they sampled. A critical violation isn't a small mistake. It's a direct threat to your health. And one of the most persistent and dangerous violations found at Subway was the failure to maintain proper food holding temperature. Let me paint a picture of what that actually means. Behind the counter, you see those stainless steel tubs filled with sliced turkey, ham, meatballs, cheese, and every vegetable imaginable. For those ingredients to remain safe, they must be kept below 40 degrees Fahrenheit. When they creep above that temperature into what food safety experts call the danger zone, they become a playground for bacteria like Listeria, Salmonella, and E. coli. The bacteria begin to multiply exponentially. The turkey starts to feel a little slimy. The lettuce wilts and develops a faint, sour odor. The cheese sweats. To the naked eye, it might not look like much, but on a microscopic level, it's a full-blown invasion. This single failure, found time and time again, completely undermines their entire eat fresh philosophy. It's a fundamental betrayal. This isn't just about a lack of freshness. It's about a lack of safety. And when you're serving millions of people who trust that your food is a healthier choice, that level of negligence is simply unacceptable. The fresh facade crumbles when you realize the foundation it's built on is potentially teeming with bacteria. At number 9 on our Hall of Shame is a brand that, like Subway, builds its entire identity on a promise of superior quality. The name itself is a declaration, PDQ, which stands for Premium, Delicious, Quick. They position themselves as a fast casual leader, a step above the traditional fast food model, where the quality of the ingredients and the cleanliness of the environment are supposed to be non-negotiable. It's a brilliant marketing strategy that taps into a consumer desire for something better, something trustworthy. But in the summer of 2023, health inspectors in Florida discovered a scene that was anything but premium. Imagine being an inspector walking into a busy PDQ kitchen. The air is filled with the sound of sizzling chicken tenders and the hum of ventilation. But as your eyes adjust, you notice something else. A flicker of movement, then another, and another. You're not just seeing one or two stray flies that might have snuck in through an open door. The official report from the health department documented an infestation. 22 live flying insects were observed throughout the food preparation and kitchen area. Let's be brutally clear about what this means. Flies are nature's filth collectors. They land on garbage, on decaying matter, on feces, and then they fly directly into a kitchen and land on food preparation surfaces, on utensils, and on the food itself. Each time they land, they can transmit dozens of dangerous pathogens. Finding over 20 of them in a kitchen isn't an accident. It's a sign of a deep, systemic failure. It points to inadequate cleaning protocols, a lack of pest control measures, and a management team that is either oblivious or worse, indifferent to a clear and present health hazard. For a brand that has the audacity to put premium quality in its name, this is a disgusting and profound hypocrisy. It's a stark reminder that marketing is just marketing, and the reality behind the counter can be a swarm of filth that directly contradicts the promises made on the bill. Coming in at number 8 is a chain that has long been a staple of the American West and beyond. Carl's Jr., known for its large, charbroiled burgers and often provocative advertising. Carl's Jr. has cultivated an image of indulgence and premium quality. They want you to believe that their $6 burger is a restaurant quality meal at a fast food price. But behind this veneer of premium positioning, reports from regional health departments and a chorus of customer complaints tell a different story, a story of persistent pest control failure. While there may not be a single national headline-grabbing incident, the pattern emerges when you look at local news reports and public health records. In cities across its territory, Carl's Jr. locations have been cited multiple times for failing to adequately control for insects, and these are not isolated events. They are symptoms of a culture where basic maintenance and vigilance are allowed to slide. A pest control failure isn't just about seeing a mouse or a cockroach. It's about what that pest represents. It represents a breach in the restaurant's defenses. It means there are cracks in the walls, gaps under the doors, or improper waste disposal practices that are essentially sending out a welcome invitation to. When a restaurant is cited for these issues, it means they have failed at the most fundamental level of sanitation. For Carl's Jr., a brand that asks you to pay a premium for their product, these failures are a particularly egregious betrayal. They want you to believe you're getting a superior product, but in reality, you might just be paying extra for a meal prepared in a kitchen that can't even keep the pests out. Their premium positioning, it turns out, couldn't save them from the most basic and disgusting of failures. Our countdown continues at number 7 with a brand that is practically synonymous with American nostalgia, Sonic Drive-In. The very name conjures images of the good old days, of roller skating car hops, classic cars, and sharing a cherry limeade on a warm summer evening. Sonic built its empire on this powerful sense of nostalgia and trust. It's supposed to be simple, fun, and reliable. But recent social media exposés and health reports reveal a modern reality that tarnishes that wholesome, vintage image. The good old days, it seems, are long gone. The narrative of Sonic's decline is often told by its own customers. On platforms like TikTok and Twitter, videos and photos have gone viral, showing truly unsanitary conditions. Customers have documented everything from disturbingly dirty drink machines crusted with mold and old syrup, to prep areas that look like they haven't been properly cleaned in weeks. One particularly viral post showed an employee handling food with their bare hands immediately after handling cash. These aren't just one-off complaints. They form a mosaic of neglect. This trend from nostalgia to disgust is deeply unsettling because Sonic's entire appeal is emotional. We don't just go there for the food. We go there for the When that feeling is replaced by the grim reality of poor sanitation, the betrayal feels personal. It's like discovering your charming, old-fashioned hometown diner has a rat problem. The vintage ads showing happy families and smiling car hops become a cruel joke when contrasted with modern-day reports of filth contamination. The trust that was built over generations is being eroded one dirty drink machine. At number 6, we confront a brand with a dark and infamous past, a brand that should, by all rights, be the most obsessively clean and safe restaurant on the planet. I'm talking about Jack in the Box. To understand the gravity of their current failures, you have to understand the tragedy of their. In 1993, Jack in the Box was the epicenter of one of the most horrific E. coli outbreaks in American history. Undercooked, contaminated hamburger patties served at their restaurants sickened over 730 people across 4. The suffering was immense. People, mostly children, suffered from agonizing cramps, bloody diarrhea, and kidney failure. For children died. The outbreak was a national trauma. It led to sweeping changes in food safety regulations, including new federal requirements for cooking temperature. It was a brutal, painful lesson for the entire industry, paid for with the lives of children. You would think that a company that endured such a cataclysmic, brand-defining event would emerge with an almost religious devotion to food safety. You would expect them to have the most rigorous, uncompromising hygiene standards, and you would be tragically wrong. The recent Dateline investigation revealed that the lessons of the past have either been forgotten or ignored. Jack in the Box was found to have a staggering 164 critical violations across the location sample. This isn't just a number, it's an indictment. It signifies a corporate culture that has allowed the most dangerous of practices to creep back in. It's a profound act of corporate amnesia and a slap in the face to every single person affected by the 1993 tragedy. The fact that they are still struggling with the most basic hygiene protocol shows that they never truly learned their lesson, and that is an unforgivable betrayal of public trust. The chain at number 5 on our list has been responsible for some of the most uniquely and profoundly disturbing food safety incidents in modern memory. These are stories that go beyond simple negligence and into a realm of such shocking failure that they are difficult to even comprehend. We're talking about Arby's. The brand that tells us they have the meats has also had some of the most stomach-turning contaminations imaginable. To understand the potential for horror at Arby's, we have to look at 2 key incidents. The first, from 2012, is a story that sounds like a macabre urban legend, but is horrifyingly true. A 14-year-old boy in Michigan was eating a roast beef sandwich when he bit down on something unusually tough and rubbery. Confused, he pulled it from his mouth and saw, to his absolute horror, the fleshy, severed tip of a human finger, complete with the whirl of a fingerprint. An investigation revealed that an employee had sliced off the tip of her thumb while operating a meat slicer. In a catastrophic breakdown of protocol, the contaminated meat was not discarded. The station was wiped down, and business continued, with a piece of a human being ending up in a teenager's life. You might hope that's a once-in-a-generation failure, but a more recent incident from just 2022 is in some ways even more vile, because this was no accident. This was a deliberate act of defilement. A manager at an Arby's in Washington State, the very person responsible for upholding standards, was caught on camera by his own horrified employees urinating milkshake. This was not a moment of desperation or a mistake. This was a conscious, malicious decision to contaminate a product and serve it to dozens of unsuspecting customers, families, children, people who had placed their trust in the brand. How do you even explain this to you? How does a company's culture allow for a manager to feel they can commit such an act? It represents a complete and total collapse of human decency and food safety. It's an incident so vile it almost defies belief, and it firmly places Arby's high on our list of chains to avoid at all costs. But these next ones, the giants of the industry, will shock you even more. We now move into the top 4. These are the chains that are not just restaurants. They are global empires, serving millions of trusting Americans every single day. The sheer scale of their operations means the stakes are higher, and their failures are all the more devastating. Coming in at number 4 is a chain that has built its entire modern identity on the promise of freshness and quality. Wendy's. Their slogan, "Fresh, Never Frozen," is a masterclass in marketing. It paints a picture of wholesome, high-quality beef of a company that refuses to cut corners. It's The reason many people choose Wendy's over their competitors. But at a location in Oklahoma, a group of brave employees, completely fed up with their management's inaction, decided to show the world what else was fresh in there. They took out their phones and started recording. The video they captured, which quickly went viral, is the stuff of nightmare. It shows live mice scurrying freely across racks of freshly baked hamburger buns. The camera zooms in on the clear plastic packaging, and you can see dark pellets of mouse feces littered among the buns. The employees reported that this wasn't a new problem. They had been complaining to management for weeks, but their pleas were ignored. They felt they had no choice but to go public, risking their jobs to expose the disgusting. This wasn't just a single mouse. This was an infestation, and it was happening on the very product meant to hold their fresh, never-frozen beef. And this wasn't an isolated incident. My investigation found that the Oklahoma story is just one part of a larger, disturbing pattern. Another Wendy's location in Florida was ordered to be shut down by inspectors for a severe insect problem, with the official report citing 22 live, flying insects swarming the food preparation area. The chasm between Wendy's bright, clean, girl next door marketing and the grim, vermin-infested reality of these kitchens is nauseating. The slogan that built their brand becomes a sick, twisted joke when you realize the buns for that fresh beef were being used as a... And number 3, we have the self-proclaimed king, a brand that for decades has told us to have it your way. But as we'll see, your way all too often comes with a side of... We're talking about Burger King. While Burger King might not have a single story as singularly grotesque as a finger in a sandwich, it makes up for it with a staggering, industry-leading record of widespread, systemic failure. The Dateline Dirty Dining investigation, which forms a crucial backbone of this research, named Burger King as the #1 dirtiest fast food chain it investigated. The numbers are damning. Across the 100 restaurants they sampled, they found an unbelievable 241 critical violations. Let that sink in. That is an average of nearly 2.5 serious, health-threatening failures per location. This isn't just a few bad apples. This is a rotten orchard. It points to a deep, pervasive, and systemic problem of cleanliness and safety across the entire franchise. The data is backed up by specific, horrifying incidents. In the UK, a Burger King branch in Tunbridge Wells received the lowest possible hygiene rating in the entire country, a 0-star score, with inspectors citing dirty and greasy equipment and a general lack of basic sanitation. In another viral incident from the UK, a customer bit into her veggie patty, a product chosen for health or ethical reasons, only to discover a dead, cooked insect pressed firmly into the patty. The image is a perfect metaphor for the state of the company, a promise of choice and quality, contaminated by a reality of filth. The sheer volume of violations at Burger King suggests a corporate culture where cleanliness is simply not a priority, with a pressure to cut costs and speed up service has pushed basic safety to the absolute bottom list. From have it your way to have it contaminated, Burger King's fall from grace is a lesson in systemic decay. This brings us to number 2. We're talking about the most iconic, most recognizable, and most powerful restaurant brand on the face of it. A symbol of American culture and childhood joy known in every country, in every language. We're talking about McDonald's. For millions, the Golden Arches are a beacon of reliability and consistency. You know what you're going to get, no matter where you are in the world. But behind that globally trusted facade, a pattern of disgusting secrets reveals that this trust is dangerously misplaced. In Jacksonville, Florida, health. Inspectors made a discovery, so vile it sounds like it was ripped from a horror movie script. During an inspection that led to a temporary shutdown of the restaurant, they found the source of a persistent pest problem inside the complex inner workings of the frappe machine, the machine that blends ice, dairy, and sweet syrups into a beloved treat. They discovered a cockroach colony. The official report documents 3 live roaches and, even more repulsively, a roach egg sac. The machine that was serving sweet drinks to families and children was doubling as a cockroaching. This problem isn't confined to one state or even one country. The rot is global. A McDonald's branch in Southampton, UK, was forced to close its doors in 2024 due to a significant and uncontrolled rat infestation. In Australia, horrifying footage filmed by an employee showed a kitchen in chaos, with cockroaches and even maggots swarming over food preparation areas and getting into the French fry display. For generations, McDonald's has sold itself as the ultimate family-friendly destination, a safe haven. But these incidents from 3 different continents paint a unified picture of decay. They show a global giant that is failing time and time again to uphold the most basic standards of hygiene. The golden arches, for so many a symbol of comfort and joy, have become tarnished by a reality of filth and infestation. But one chain, through its sheer statistical dominance and failure, has earned the undisputed #1 spot. Before I reveal the #1 most unhygienic burger chain in America, you need to understand that what we've seen here is not a series of unfortunate, disconnected accidents. It is the predictable outcome of a broken system. After reviewing hundreds of these reports and speaking with former employees, the pattern becomes crystal clear. The fast food industry's business model is built on 2 pillars: speed and volume. The relentless pressure to push more customers through the drive-thru in less time, combined with a constant corporate mandate to reduce labor costs, creates a pressure cooker environment in every kitchen. When you understaff a restaurant, when you cut training hours, when you refuse to invest in proper equipment maintenance, and when you pay your employees wages so low that turnover is constant, you are creating the perfect breeding ground for disaster. Cleanliness takes time. Thoroughness takes time. Safety checks take time. In a system that values every second, these are the first things to be sacrificed at the altar of It's a corporate culture that has, in many cases, tacitly accepted a certain level of filth as the cost of doing business. And no company, based on the evidence, exemplifies this systemic failure more than our #1. The #1 most unhygienic, dirtiest burger chain in America, earning its place at the top of our Hall of Shame, is Burger King. I know we've already discussed them, but they belong in the top spot, and it's crucial to understand why. While other chains provided more singularly shocking or visually grotesque stories, no other company matched Burger King's performance in one critical area: widespread, consistent statistical failure. They didn't just have a few horrifying incidents. They built a track record of filth that is unmatched in the industry. As a reminder, the comprehensive Dateline Dirty Dining investigation crowned Burger King the undisputed champion of dirt, with a jaw-dropping 241 critical violations across the 100 locations they sampled. This number is so far beyond its competitors that it points to a problem that is not just a flaw, but a feature of their operational culture. It is an institutional problem. This statistical dominance is the reason they have truly earned the #1 spot. It demonstrates that your chances of encountering a dangerous hygiene failure at Burger King are, according to this data, higher than anywhere else. It is the culmination of everything that is wrong with fast food industry's approach to safety. The king has no clothes, and underneath is simply filthy. So, how do you protect yourself? How do you navigate this minefield and ensure the food you're feeding your family is safe? It feels overwhelming, but you have more power than you think, and the tools are at your fingertips. Here is your protection plan. This is what I do now, every time, and it has completely changed how I eat out. First, and most importantly, I make checking the official health department ratings a non-negotiable first step. Before I even consider it a restaurant, I take 60 seconds and look it up. In most counties and cities across the United States and the UK, these databases are public. You can usually find them by searching for your county name, public health food inspections. Learn to read the reports. Don't just look at the score or letter grade. Look for the details. Look for keywords like vermin, rodents, insects, improper holding temperatures, or cross-contamination. Look for repeat violations over multiple inspections. This tells you that the problem is chronic and management isn't fixing. This simple habit is your single greatest defense. Second, become your own inspector. Trust your senses. When you walk into a restaurant, engage your full attention. What do you smell? Is it the pleasant aroma of cooking food, or is there an underlying smell of old grease, sour mops, or a faint scent of garbage? Look at the floors. Are they clean, especially along the edges and tables? Look at the employees. Are their uniforms clean? Are they practicing good hygiene? Look at the soda fountain. Is the drain underneath it clean, or is it a swamp of sticky, moldy residue? And always check the bathroom. The state of a restaurant's bathroom is almost always a direct reflection of the state of its kitchen. If they can't be bothered to keep the area your customers see clean, they are absolutely not keeping the area you can't see clean. If your gut tells you something is wrong, listen to it and walk out. Third, and this is crucial, if you see something or if you get sick after eating somewhere, report it. Do not just post about it on social media. While that can raise awareness, it doesn't create an official record. Report it to the manager on duty calmly and clearly. Report it to the company's corporate headquarters through their website. And most critically, file an official complaint with your local public health department. They are legally obligated to investigate credible claims. Your complaint could trigger an inspection that prevents dozens or even hundreds of other people from getting sick. You are not being a Karen. You are being a responsible citizen protecting your community. This investigation wasn't just about scaring you. It was about empowering you. It was about taking the trust we blindly place in these billion-dollar corporations and putting it back in your own hands. You have the knowledge. You have the tools. You have the power to demand better, not just for yourself, but for everyone who walks through those doors. Share this video. Talk about it with your friends and family. The more people who are aware of this systemic problem, the more pressure these companies will feel to make real, meaningful changes. And whenever you can, support your local, independent restaurants that you know are run by people who care, people for whom cleanliness and quality are a matter of personal pride, not a line item on a corporate bill. You now know the worst offenders, and you have the hard evidence showing why they earned their spot on this. You have a 3-step defense plan that can transform you from a passive consumer into an informed guardian of your. The fear and uncertainty can be replaced with confidence and vigilance. Your health is back in your hands. Now that you know the chains you should absolutely avoid, you're probably asking the logical next question. Is any fast food safe? Are there any major chains that actually get it right? The answer, thankfully, yes. There are brands that consistently score high on health inspections and have a strong culture of cleanliness. In the video you see on your screen right now, I break down the 5 cleanest fast food chains in America based on the same deep dive data analysis. So if you want to know where you can grab a quick meal with peace of mind, click that video right now. What's the most disgusting thing you've ever found in your food? Share your own horror story in the comments below. Let's bring all of this into the light. And if this investigation has armed you with valuable knowledge, please hit that subscribe button for more deep dives that they don't want you to see.